Hey y'all, welcome to the podcast where the Y in your journey is silent. If you can tell, I am sick, but I wasn't gonna miss out on the podcast because I gotta hold y'all accountable. Y'all gotta hold me accountable. So let's get into it. So, this episode we're just gonna talk about week 4, which was Exodus 19 through 40. This we won't really dig down too deep into it, only because I'm sick and I cannot talk as much as I want to. So I do have a special guest coming on today, y'all. So just stay tuned for that. But let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So in week 4, like when we first started, I'm gonna order like I always say. And also I forgot. If nobody told you that they're proud of you, I am. We are a month in. Round of applause, y'all. Now, let's get into it. Okay. So, week 4, we did Exodus 19 through 40. And at the beginning, like I said, I'm going to go in order. This week is more of God laying down the law. If y'all know the commandments and stuff like that. So, one of the commandments that stood out to me was to not have any other gods. And what God deems a god is people that is like basically when sorry, it's basically when other people are idolizing others before they idolize God. So just to give y'all a little example, let's say Beyonce. People look at Beyonce as if she's a god, but she's not. She is just like one of us. She's a normal human being. She's not a god. But a lot of people idolize her before they idolize our real God. So that is just an example to where what he meant by not to have any other gods. That could also be, it don't have to be a person. It could be a thing. Like let's say how rappers love jewelry. Rappers like diamonds and gold and stuff like that are treasures for God. That is not supposed to be for us. But rappers and stuff like that, they like that stuff and they look at it as if it makes them, but it doesn't. And so another one of the commandments that stood out to me was when God was saying, the fruits of your labor. So basically from that, he's saying, if you follow him and do what he says and follows his commandments, you will receive the fruits of your labor. The fruits being your blessing, your labor being following God and doing his instructions. So I'm also looking at my notes, y'all. So from there, the children, so God basically told Moses to come to the top of the mountain and get all of the commandments. And when he went back down and he told the children of Israel, they all agreed to it and they said, okay, yes, I'm going to do it. After that, God called Moses to Mount Sinai, and basically God was telling him that he was also going to come down and view like the children of Israel and just for them to witness him. But before God came down, Moses actually stayed up on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. And also, it wasn't just Moses that he called, but Moses is the only one that stayed on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. So from there, God basically asked Moses to get offerings for him. And God wanted the children of Israel to make an altar to him and also an ark. So from there, God also told Moses that he wants him to basically let Aaron know that he is going to be deemed a priest for God and to teach his lessons and his blessings and just to help people know who God is. So God told Moses to make holy garments for Aaron and also for Aaron's sons. And from there, if you guys are reading, then you know about Aaron's breastplate, and you know that there were 12 stones in the breastplate. God is very flashy. He loves jewels. He loves gold. He loves silver. So the breastplate was made. All the garments were made out of pure gold. And so basically, so the 12 stones on the breastplate was to represent the 12 sons of Israel and also the 12 tribes of Israel. A little reminder, Israel is Jacob. Jacob used to be his name until he wrestled with God and God gave him the name Israel. So God wanted the breastplate to be worn over Aaron's heart to be a memorial to Israel's sons. And he also wanted it to be over his heart to be the judge, so it could be like he's wearing the judgment of the children of Israel over his heart. God wanted Moses to anoint Aaron and his son before they became priests. So God asked for burnt offerings, and the burnt offerings that God asked for were of rams, of animals, of male animals. So God asked Moses to get a ram and to basically kill it, and he wanted him to rub the blood of the ram on Aaron and his son. So Moses put it on Aaron and his son's ears, their right thumb, and their right big toe. And God also wanted him to place it on the altar that they made for him. Moses took the blood from the altar and put it on Aaron's breastplate and all of the holy garments just to anoint them like God said. God also asked for a wave offering, which was the fat and kidneys from a ram, bread, a cake, and unleavened bread, and also wafers made from the unleavened bread. And with that, he wanted the children of Israel to put those things in Aaron and his son's hands. God asked Moses to get an offering from the children of Israel to honor Aaron. He also told Moses that the holy garments that Aaron has received are going to be his sons once he's dead and gone. So, and he also said that the son that becomes a priest will have to wear the garments for 7 days before they are able to actually preach. So he wants them to wear for 7 days while he's in the temple that they built for him. So when it comes to that burnt offering, God asked them to boil the ram in the holy place, and he wanted them to eat it. He wanted them to eat the offerings and stuff like that. And anything that was left over, he wanted them to burn in fire. And he wanted them to offer a bull every day for 7 days as a sin offering. So from there, God told Moses that he was actually going to dwell in the land with the children of Israel on the mountain, and that's where they were to make him an altar. So God also asked Moses to, whenever he does a census to count the people, the children of Israel, he wants him to get a half a shekel as an offering from them. Everyone that is 20 and up has to also give an offering. He made sure that he let them know that the rich doesn't have to give more and the poor doesn't have to give less. So everyone has to pay the same amount. So that's basically what happened. And then it was just, this whole week was basically of God just throwing down the laws. I just want to name some of them for y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and get into what I got out of this week. So in Exodus 30, God gave Moses the recipe to make holy oil. But no, you cannot make it, because if you do, you will die. You'll be put on a t-shirt for the rest of your life. No, don't make it, because it is sacred. This is something that God wanted Moses to do, to anoint the people, and something that only Moses could do. So if you read that every ingredient that God told Moses to get, he had to beat it down, he had to crush it, he had to do all this stuff in order to make this holy oil. So when I was thinking about it, it made me think of how God was able to take something like an olive, cinnamon, and it was like olives. It was a whole bunch of stuff, but it was normal stuff that you can find anywhere, and it's like little things that you wouldn't think could be so great. So it made me think about how God could take something so regular and ordinary and normal and turn it into something that is sacred and holy just by crushing it and beating it down. And from there, I just thought about my life. Like, God beats us down for us to call on him. He does these things just for us to call on him. God takes you from 100 to 1 just for you to call on him. And like, he does that so then he can show you, so you can witness his greatness. And when I think about myself, I'm like, wow, like I told y'all before, there were a lot of things that I was going through. There was a time in my life where all I had was God. The only person that could fix my situation was God. And I felt like, thinking about this situation, thinking about what we read, is like, God beat me down to get where I am right now, for me to be in the headspace that I am right now, because now all I do is call on God. And it's like, he did that so that I can be anointed, so that I can come to him and I can stay in his grace. And that's exactly what is happening when you think, like I said, when you think about it, he had to take olives and he had to take cinnamon and he had to crush them and beat them. And from there, he made the most sacred thing that you can't even make it. Like, that's how sacred it is. And it's like, it makes me think about the saying, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And it's like, he beats us down. He beats us down. He tears us apart. He strains us. He makes us stressed out. He's testing us to see who we will call on. And hopefully y'all call on God, because I call on God. So, hey, real spill, real tea, okay? We all have struggles in life, and that is put on you for a reason. God wants you to call on him so you can witness his greatness. Yeah, that's what I got off of this week's reading. Is just God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers for a reason. He wants you to call on him. Just like Moses took those normal things and turned them into the most sacred thing that you can't even make. God beats us down just so that we can come to him. So like I told y'all, I have a special guest today, and I just wanted to get through the readings because I wanted to explain it and stuff like that, but I don't really want to talk too much anymore because my voice is gone. And I feel like, let me get to this, y'all. I feel like this was a test. My voice and stuff being gone was a test, because today is the day that I have to record. Usually I would have been like, I'm going to stay home because I'm sick and I just can't do it. But you know what? I feel like God did that so that he can see if I'm really all in, and I am, and I'm here and I'm recording. So let's get to it. So let me go ahead and introduce my first ever guest. Y'all saw her once, but y'all going to see her again. Y'all going to see her many a times. My guest today is going to be my producer, T, my best friend. Come on, come over here. So I do want her to introduce herself and shout out her social medias as well again before we jump into it.
Okay, hey y'all, my name is T. My real name is Tierra, but I go by T. Also, Creative Levels. You can follow me on my main page at xo.t with 3 e's _, or you can do creative.levels, which is actually my business page.
Follow her right now. Matter of fact, pause this video and follow her right now.
And also, if you want to see what I styled my best friend for the day, you can just go to my business page and I have all her outfits on there.
Real spill, no shade, no tea. Let's get into it. So, I am going to be interviewing her, not like interviewing her, but just asking her certain questions just to see if her mind is right. I forgot the question that I texted her, but I'm just going to read them off of her phone. Let's get into it. So, this is also the question. I already answered it a little bit, but this is going to be also the question that we're going to answer in the journal. So, I want her to talk about a time where she felt like God put a beating on her for her to call on him.
So for that, I would say I was going through a lot of depression, and I feel like I got my moments. It's like You know, when I'm okay, I don't feel like I got depression. But then it seems like when it gets around the winter time, I just get really depressed because I'm gonna be very honest and no filter. Like when I'm at work, I'm a nail tech. So being a nail tech around this time, it fluctuates up and down. So that's when my depression really gets the best of me. So I feel like mentally and financially, I feel like I'm not where I need to be at. So I tend to overthink and I get in my head a lot and I get depressed about the situation. And I feel like there were times where, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. There was one time where I took 3 weeks out of work because I was so depressed, like didn't want to get out of bed, nothing. And then it was kind of like, as I called on God, it's like, you gotta get up and continue your day, even though some things, is fluctuating at work. That don't mean you're supposed to stop. You're supposed to keep going. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like, talk to myself, and don't get me wrong, I didn't have my days where I cried and everything. But I had to tell myself, like, you're not going to be in a storm for long. Like, you got to keep going. So that's kind of how I handled that situation.
Good TED Talk. So the next question is, what does your journey mean to you? Not the podcast, but your actual journey with getting to know God.
So, how Tamia talked about, I said Tamia.
It's cool. Go ahead.
As Tamia talked about in her previous video, she's mentioned how me and her, we were in the Bible last year around this time, and we were doing really good, and then we just kind of like fell off because we started turning up, and it's just like I noticed when I started the Bible, I realized, how we live our day-to-day life, like we like to go out and stuff like that, and then it was kind of like, me and her had a conversation one day, and we were like, something is wrong. And we like, I don't know what's wrong. Trying to figure it out.
Y'all, we was literally thinking the same exact thing.
Same thing.
Crazy.
That same week. Same week, she called me, and she was like, man, this whole past week, I can't figure out what's going on with me. I said, bruh, I literally just said that. And then we have another friend that said the same thing. So I'm like, okay, at this point, we know what we need to be doing. Mm-hmm. And then that's when we picked up our Bible and we start getting into it. But then again, we fell off. I'm not gonna lie, that's normal for a lot of people for our age. Like we start things and then we just kind of like fall off. So
I feel like we probably started for the wrong reasons.
Yep, I can agree with that.
Yeah, we started for the wrong reasons. We wanted to get to know God, but we also wanted to still live our life.
Right.
But now it's like we all in.
Right. Right. That is true.
Like,
so it's kind of like, as we started off and fell off again, it's a commitment thing that you have to do. I know things are not going to happen overnight, but you kind of just like, for me, it's kind of like, if I can go out and do all of these things, I should be able, and like how she was just talking about just now, God be doing his big one on us. So it's like, if I can go out all the time, why can't I take the time to learn about God and everything that's in the Bible? I should be able to spend my time with him, because I'm not gonna lie, I done been through a lot, and God done did his big one on me for real. Like,
yeah, showed us his mercy, his great.
Okay,
we are very grateful.
Like the thing about it is, he gonna show you a lesson for sure, but he's never gonna steer you the wrong way, like at all. So that's why I make sure, like, I'm kind of getting off topic, but far as my journey means to me, I just need to, keep committing to learning about God. And, as I've been reading this whole entire time, I feel like I'm on the right track. And this is not just after 365 days, it's going to stop. No, I need to continue to keep learning about him. This is not just a
1 year thing.
Yeah, a 1 year thing. I want to keep growing and learning. I want to be able to, if somebody feels some type of way, I could go to them like, hey, let me tell you this type of thing. Like, I ain't trying to do like a big lecture or nothing, but I just want to be able to say, like, this and this and that, whatever the case might be.
Were you saying that? No, for real. What you say that, it made me think about, because there's a part in the song, the one song that we like by the dude Alex
G.
Yeah. It says, you say you love me just for fun. And that beat, when I first heard that song, and when we first got into the Bible, it made me think of myself, because I'm like, dang, I don't know if I'm really doing this because I really love God, or if I'm doing this because I feel like I'm going through something.
Right.
It made me think like, dang, I don't want to be that person that's saying I love him just for fun.
Yep. Or even if, like, when you go through things in life, or for example, my car accident, I don't want to just be able to just call on him because, you know, I still got my life. I should be constantly still be able to thank him. That's why I made a promise to myself, like, every day I'm going to make sure I pray. Like,
make sure you smile.
I'm just not even about to go into it because one of the questions you asked me, I'm going to just finish off with that.
Okay. So my next question for T is, what made you start your journey with getting to know God more?
I started my journey because it's kind of like how I was saying earlier. Like, I cannot call on him when he does his big one on me. So I need to be able to, you know, talk to God constantly, because
on a regular,
everything that she's been through or I've been through, all this stuff can get taken away. And she's been there before, I've been there before. Or we done had moments where it was getting real close, we're losing every single thing. So it's like, why would I just, you know, only talk to God when I, like, need him the most? I should be able to talk to him whenever, because he is the person that guides us. He's the one that's going to always wrap his arms around us when we need him the most.
Well, he knows our path better than us. Yes, God is my best friend.
He knows our future. He knows all of that. So I needed to start my journey the right way and not just pray here and there and just, you know, ask for certain things from him, because I feel like there were times before I even got deep into the Bible, I would pray here and there, I would ask God for things, and I would get frustrated because I'm like, why I ain't got this yet, or why this ain't happened yet? So it's like, that's why I wanted to start my journey and do it the correct way. And I have realized a big difference from how I used to be to where I am now. Mm-hmm. So God is still doing his big one on me, y'all.
Nah, real talk. Nobody's perfect, but we are walking with God, and we're trying to reach our full potential in his name and in his glory. We ask God for guidance so much to help us get to that next level that he wants us to be.
Right.
So, so my next question is, how do you apply God to your life every day?
So every morning, I don't know if y'all have it, but if you don't, please download it. It's called Journal app. It's on Apple's now. For the Android users, I don't know if it's on now.
We'll put the link in the
description.
Yeah.
And so every morning when I wake up, I have a timer set for 9:00 in the morning. When I wake up, I always go to the journal app and I pray to God. I always say, "Good morning, God." I ask for his guidance. I always thank him for waking me up in the morning. And that's a constantly thing. And at the end of my prayers, I've been doing this since December 24th. So I've been doing it every day. There's been a couple days where I messed up and didn't write in there, but I still talk to God throughout the day or pray, even if it's not in my journal. Mm-hmm. And at the end of my prayers, I always put #AllWins2024. And it's going to continue to be All Wins 2024. Like,
All Wins 2024. You got to put it on this. You got to put it on my head.
All Wins 2024. That's just that. Another thing is, I'm trying to get back into the habit of every morning I want to be able to listen to gospel music, because I've noticed how my energy is in the mornings. Like, you know how everybody is. You don't want to go to work in the morning, so you already irritated because you got to go to work. You got to get up early, and you just irritated. Mm-hmm. I've noticed, again, last year when I was reading the Bible, every morning, me and her, we will sing songs back to back. And we will listen to songs throughout the day or just in the morning, period. I realized how my energy was in the mornings and throughout the day. So when I'm listening to hip hop every morning, listening to y'all Lil Durk or something like that, I noticed throughout the day I'm getting frustrated with, you know, whoever it may be. So I just need to get back on track into listening to music, because I realize how positive my, you know, day is going to be. And then lastly, I want to be able to get back into the habit of watching sermons. One sermon that I do want to mention is it's called How to Heal. I do not remember who it's by, y'all, but I'll put it in the link. And the three things that he's mentioned was when trouble comes, you have to expect it, embrace it, and exceed it. So when you look at that, I promise y'all, ever since I heard that, I think about that in my daily life. For example, me being as a nail tech, I'm gonna have some frustrating clients. So if I already know this is gonna happen, I gotta be like, okay, I know this is about to happen, but we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna work something out, and then I'm just let it go. So I feel like in life, when you know something is going to happen, you just gotta know it's gonna come. You gotta know how to handle it and get rid of it and go about your day. So that's kind of how I look at things now.
So lastly, I want T to do one of her soaps. This is not going to be a soap from this week because I feel like this week is not really a big soap moment because God's commandments are so literal that you cannot translate those. Like, they are very literal. You should not kill. You should not steal. If an ox kill a kid, you gotta do, so like, no, I think it's very literal. So I want her to do one of her soaps from one of the previous weeks. So
okay, so this one is Genesis 28:15. From my scripture, I wrote, I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. For my observation, I put, God will always continue to watch over us, whether we call on his name or not. But no, he can always show us a lesson behind anything we go through. My application is moving forward with my life. I will always wait on God's sign and to know when I am on the right track. God always keeps his promises, and I should be able to keep mine.
Facts.
And then, far as my prayer, I'm not going to read it because I feel like it's personal for me and what's going on with my life. And that's just
y'all be too nosy.
Y'all be too nosy.
Yeah. So as y'all can see, like I told y'all before, I am sick. I ain't got no makeup, none of that, because I just don't even feel like doing all that. Like, I just don't want to do it. But yeah, for next week. So this week's journal question, I just asked T that question as well, but is when was the time that God crushed you so hard that it made you come to him? So I want everyone to answer those questions in their journal this week. And I will also be I still do the practice good habits. That'll be on my Instagram. But this week, I actually so last week's practice good habits was to try to ask God for guidance every single day from here on out. And for this week's practice good habits, I wanted to try to make a habit to pray for others' well-being as well, not just yourself, but for others. So,
okay, y'all. So for next week, for week 5, Matthews 1-22, that is what we will be reading next. I hope y'all are ready for it. Like,
no, for real. Because
we're getting down to it.
Now, really, we're going to be a whole month in, and now we're 5 weeks in. Like, now you're committed. This is determination.
Ain't no going back.
Ain't no going back.
Ain't no going back.
Dedication, motivation. Let's really get into it. So, I do want to say thank you for coming on and spilling your tea. I really appreciate that because it's really good to hear other people's point of views and also see other people's process and their journey and just see how other people think, because I don't want y'all to only have my point of view on things. So, and like she said, she notices a change in herself. I actually noticed the change in her as well. We talked about that. I texted her like, I see you. So
I just be thinking about what I say before I speak, y'all. I had to start doing that. Like,
I need to keep working on that.
I don't get me wrong now. There's still some days where I say, but it's a work in progress. Like I said, this ain't no overnight thing. This is a continuous thing.
We got a whole year, y'all. We got a whole year to get right. Like, it's only been 5 weeks. Ain't nobody perfect. We ain't acting like we perfect. We're not trying to make it seem like we perfect. We are like you. We are trying to do this just like y'all. We are not trying to make it seem like we are already there, because I will be the first.
And I will be the first.
we are not. We
Not
are
yet.
still trying to. We're still getting beat down. We're still getting beat down. So that is the end of this video. We got through it. I really hope that it really resonated with y'all, and I hope that y'all don't look at what you're going through as if it is the end. It is not the end. I want y'all to really pray about what you're going through. Ask God for the guidance. Ask Him for the strength to get through whatever you're going through at this moment. It's not the end of the world. You have tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. Get your mind right. Dig into your Bible. Figure out, learn yourself. This is why we're doing this. We're doing this to get to know ourselves, because who knows us better than our Creator? So, yeah, let's keep it going. Let's keep getting into it. We are up out of here. I should have